Hello everyone and welcome to SimpliCode's YouTube channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In this session, we'll learn how to create a supermarket billing project in C++. We'll create this project in small parts as there are various functions that we'll be using for this project, like the add function to add the goods and products in the market and the delete function to delete some products. Also, we'll create a buyer site where the buyer can buy the products or food items of his choice. So now let's go ahead, but before that, make sure to subscribe to SimpliCode's YouTube channel and press that bell icon to never miss any updates from SimpliCode. So let's begin.
We will move to our code editor, that is dev C++. So now let's create a new file and we'll start with adding the header files. First of all, we'll add #include iostream. Then we'll include the fstream file, right? #include fstream, because here we have to do the file handling operations as well. So we'll add the fstream file. Now we'll write the namespace standard. Now let's save this one and name it billing1.cpp. Alright, so we have named this file. Now first of all, we'll create a class and we will declare some variables and functions. So let's create a class and name the class as shopping. Inside the class shopping, first of all, inside the private scope, we will create or declare some variables: pcode, then float type price, then another variable discount of float type, then name, which would be string. Alright, let's name it pname. P stands for product. Alright, now inside the public scope, we will declare the functions. So let's name this function as menu, because we have to create the menu. Then administrator function. Alright, now let's create a buyer function, a buyer or customer whatsoever. Alright, now let's create add function, then the edit function. These definitions of these functions we will create later. First of all, here we are declaring these functions. After that, we have to remove some products. For that, we will create remove function, and then the list function to display the list, and at last receipt function. Alright, so here we have declared the functions and the variables. So now we'll put semicolon in the end of the class and we'll start with the first function, that is the menu function. So we'll write void class name, then the scope resolution operator and menu function. So now inside this function, first of all, we will create a variable, that is choice, and some more variables, like let's say email and password, because here we will need email as well as password for the login purpose. So now we have to create this menu, and for that we have to first of all display supermarket main menu, and after that we will display that administrator, buyer, etc. and all that. So now let's start with that. For that we have to display, and you can display in your own style, like I usually do like this /t to add some horizontal space. It's just for formatting, and after that same will do. To save some time, let's just copy and just paste it. And but now here we'll write supermarket main menu. Reduce some space. Alright, now similarly we'll do here. Now let's just copy and paste this part. Alright, now again some space. Alright, now we'll create a menu in which the user have to select, the customer have to select whether he is an administrator or a buyer. So let's do that, and for that we'll write cout /t/t/t to add some horizontal space. And alright, now administrator, now similarly here we'll add some space over here. Just remove this one. In number 2 we'll write buyer, the person who wants to buy stuff from the market. Alright, now let's format it. We'll add some space over here. Now in number 3 we'll write exit. Alright, it's pretty much done. After that, again, if we want to add some space, we can add some. It's just for formatting purposes, you can do it in your own way. And after that, we have to display a message saying that please select. So we'll display a message. Forgot to use semicolon. Now we'll take an input from the user that whatsoever he wants to click on, like if he is an administrator he will click on 1, if he is a buyer then he'll click on 2, and if he wants to exit he can click on 3. So we will take an input of choice. Now we have to use switch case, and let's create that switch, and inside this we'll write choice. We all know how switch case works. Alright, now for case 1, that is administrator case, we will ask the user to enter the login credentials if he or she is an administrator. So let's just do that. So first of all, we'll display a message saying that please log in. So /t/t. Enter email, and then we'll take the input of email. We already declared this variable email, and now we'll take the password from the user. Now we'll take the input of the password. So as we have taken the email and password from the user, now we will set an email and password that only admin knows and no other person can enter that. And let's say for that we have to use if-else statements. So if email equals, now let's set the email first of all, robbie@email.com. You can write the email and password as of your choice, and I'll set the password now as robbie@123. Now inside the if block, if the user enters this, that means it is the administrator, and we will call this administrator function. Alright, now in the else block, we'll simply display a message saying that invalid username password. Invalid username, invalid email password. Alright, after that we'll use the break to end the case. Now we will create case 2. Case 2 is for the buyer, so we'll write case 2, and in this case we'll simply call the buyer function. So this is the case 2, and now we have to create the case 3. Inside the case 3 is for exit, so we'll do exit 0. It means successful termination of the program. Now default case. So inside the default case, we'll simply display a message saying that please select from the given options. Default case will execute if a person selects any other option rather than 1, 2, 3. So we'll have to instruct him that please select from the given option. Select from the given options. Now after this we'll use a goto statement after the switch statement. So goto is a jump statement, so it will help us in jumping to the main menu again after the completion of this switch case. And this M is a label. We have to put this label at the starting of this menu. So let's do that. We'll write M. Now coming back to the next function. So this function is done. So we'll close this function. Alright, so now we will create an administrator function in which there will be different options inside the administrator menu. So now let's start with that. So we will write void shopping, that is the class name, scope resolution operator, administrator. So our function name is administrator. So inside this function, first of all we will declare a variable choice. Now after that we will create a menu in which there will be different options. So let's do that. First of all we'll write /n, then /t, some horizontal spaces. After that administrator menu. Alright, after that here will be our first option. So first of all we'll write /n, then /t. Just to make it a bit fancy, we can do this. Add the product. So the user can select this option if he wants to add the product, not user, the administrator. Now we will add some space in this one. Now again same, we'll copy it from here, then paste it. So here we will change it to the modify the product, and we have to adjust it as well. Alright, now again we'll add some space. We can copy this one. Now here will be write delete the product. Now here again three and make this 4. 4 will be of back to main menu. Alright. Now after that we will ask the user to please enter your choice. So we'll display a message saying that please enter your choice. Alright. Now the user will enter the choice. Now again we have to use the switch case statements. Inside this first case, first of all we'll make, and inside this first case we will call the add function. After that we'll use break statement. Now we'll create case 2. In case 2 we will call the modify function or the edit function. So we'll write edit, and again the break. Now we'll create case 3. In case 3 there will be delete function. So we'll name this function as remove. REM stands for remove. Now case 4 would be back to main menu. So for that we'll simply call the menu function. Now after case 4 there would be default case. So we'll write default and we'll print a message saying that invalid choice. Alright, so after the switch case statement, again as we have done in the previous function, we will mark M with a goto statement, which is a jump statement, and label it over here. Alright, so administrator function is done. After this function, now we will create another function, let's say buyer function. So for that, void shopping scope resolution operator buyer. Alright, so inside this buyer function, first of all we'll declare the variables in choice. Now inside this function we'll ask the user that he or she wants to buy the product or go back. So let's create that. First of all, here we'll write buy the product. No, first of all we'll write buyer. Yeah. After that,
let's give some space. Now, first would be buy product. Now again we'll add some space. Let's copy it and paste it over here. And alright, slash n. Okay, again now we will, in the second option we'll write go back. So the second option is go back. And over here we'll add some space or a line.
alright, so these were some options. After that, we will ask the user to enter your choice. Then the user will enter his choice. So we are taking the input. After that, we'll use the switch statement and choice. So inside the switch statement, first of all, we'll create case 1. Inside this case, we will call the receipt function. Inside the receipt function, all the operations of the buyer will take place. So this is the receipt function, and after that we'll use break. Now we'll create case 2. In case 2 we'll write or call the menu function, as 2 would be go back, as we can see. Now default case. We'll write invalid choice. Now after this again we'll use the go to jump statement and mark here M. Alright, so after this function, now we will create the add function. So as we know, if the user over here, the administrator over here, will click on this add the product, that is the first case, then this add function will be called. So now we will create this add function. So we'll write void shopping add. So inside this function we will use some file handling operations. So create an object of fstream class. So data is the name of the object, Now we'll create some variables like int c, int token equals 0, and float p, float d, and string n. So these are the variables that we have declared. Now we have to create a menu kind of a structure in which we will ask the user to enter the product code of product, the name of the product, price, discount, etc. So let's do that. So let's write add new product. Alright, after that we will write the product code of product. We'll ask the user to enter the product code of the product. So we'll write /n/n and /t. We'll take the input in P code. We have already declared these variables at the top of our code. Now we will write another message saying that name of the product. For that we'll write name of the product. Now we'll take the input in pname. Now we'll display price of the product. We'll take the input in price. Now we'll ask to enter the discount. So we'll write discount on the product. Alright, so here we are asking the user to enter the product code of the product. Then the user will enter the product code, then the name of the product, then he will enter the name, then the price, and then the discount. So after that, now we will have to open a file, because as this add option is being used by the administrator, so we have to store these product details inside a particular file so that we can display to the user that we have these products in our supermarket. Alright, so for that we'll have to use the file handling operations. Data is the name of the object, as we can see, and with the help of data.open we can open the file, and the name of the file we can write here database.txt. Alright, after that we want to open this file in reading mode. iOS in will open the file in reading mode and iOS out will open the file in writing mode. So now we will use if statement and we'll write if not data, that is if this file doesn't exist, then inside this function we'll write data.open database.txt. We will open this, basically we will open this file in writing mode if this file doesn't exist, and if this file exists then in else block we'll do that. iOS out, iOS app stands for append mode and iOS out stands for write mode. Now in order to write inside the file, we'll give some space, and now we'll write pcode. This is how we can write inside a file. After that, pname, then again some space. After that, there is price, then again some space. After that, dis for discount, then we'll use /n. Alright, so after that we have to close the file as well. Write data.close. Data.close. After that, in else block, that is if the file exists, then we will read from the file. So this is how we can read from file. N, P, D, these are the variables. Here we are initializing the file because after that we have to use the while loop to iterate through the file. So let's do that. First of all, I'll write this part and then I'll explain. Inside this we'll use if statement, and if c equals to p code, then token will be incremented, and for initialization or for iteration we'll again do that. So here what we are doing is, first of all, we are initializing the index of file. Here we are initializing the index because after that we will use the while loop. Inside this while loop we have written not data.eof. This eof is the end of file function. This while loop will make sure to check every content of the file by iterating it. So one by one each content of the file is checked. If the code matches with the p code, that is if there is a duplicacy, then the token variable which we can see initialized with 0 will be incremented. It will become 1 basically. After that, for the iteration purpose, we are reading from the file, and after that now we will close the file, data.close. Alright, now we'll use if statement, that if token is 1, as we know, if token gets incremented, that is if there is a duplicacy, then again it will go back to the menu. That is if the product code entered by the administrator already exists, then he have to enter another product code, because if the administrator enters the duplicate code, then it will again go back to this menu. So this go to M, we have to label it over here. Alright, now in the else block, that is if the token value is not incremented, that is the product code entered by the administrator is unique and not duplicate, then we can enter the product, that is its product code, its product name, its price. So for that we can just copy paste this part, it's the same, and we can paste it over here. So here we are writing inside the file. So this is how we can write inside the file, and here we are opening the file in append and writing mode. To write inside the file we have to open the file in writing mode. So after that we will display a message saying that record inserted. There's some bracket error. The else block we'll close over here. Alright, now this add function is done. We have done this part. Now we have to create another function named the edit function. As the add function is used for adding the products in the market based on their price, names, discounts, etc. Now edit function will edit the products. Like if you want to edit some product like juice instead of milk or something like that, you can do it with the help of edit function. So we'll do that functionality in edit function. So let's do that. We'll write void shopping edit, the name of the function. So inside this function we will create two objects of fstream class, that is data1 and data2. That is data and data1. Alright, so these two are the objects of fstream class. Now we will declare some variables. Now string n. Alright, now we'll write a message displaying modify the record. So we'll write /n now we will ask to enter the product code. So we'll write now we will open the file and check if that file exists or not. Now if that file doesn't exist, then we'll simply display a message saying that file doesn't exist. And in else block we will open the file, but not the same file, the other file. This file would be database1, and we will open this file with the help of this object, that is data1. So we'll write data1.open. The name of the file would be database1.txt, and we will open this file in append mode and writing mode. So here what we are doing is we will save our edited data in this file and we will rename it to the original name, that is database.txt. The name of this file is database1.txt. We will save the edited data in this file and then we will rename this file as database.txt. That is the original name of the file. So now we will write data p code, then p name, price, and then this. So we are initializing this file. Basically we want to iterate this file. So not data dot end of file. It will check each and every content of the file. Alright, now using if statement, we will check if p key equals to p code. P key is the code that is entered by the administrator which he wants to edit. So if that matches, then inside the file we'll write /n/t/t, then product of new code, product new code. Here we are asking the administrator to enter the new code for the product. So in C, he or she will enter the code. Then we will ask to enter the name. So write /n/n name of the product. P name N. Now the price. So we'll write now the discount. Now all the updated details of the product will be entered with the help of data1 object. Again some space, then N, again some space, and here P, then here D. Alright, now we'll write a message saying that record edited. Record edited. Alright. After that we'll increment the token, that is token ++. Now this was the if block. Now in else block, again data1, that is if the product key or the product code entered by the administrator doesn't matches with any of the product code within the file, then the old variables, that is p code, p name, price, and after that discount, that is this. Alright, after that, yeah, we'll do that /n. Now outside this else block we'll write that p code, p name, just for increment purpose. We want the while loop to iterate, so that is why we will use this one, so that this while loop can iterate. Alright, after this we will close both the objects, that is data.close. We are closing both the files, and data1 dot close. Now, as I already discussed, that we have to rename that database1 back to the original name, that is database. So we will use two functions in C++, that is remove function and rename function. With the help of remove function, we will remove the list, that is the database.txt file. We will remove that database.txt file, and then with the help of rename function, we will rename database1.txt to database.txt. So let's do that. Remove, inside remove we will write the name of the file. It will basically remove all the list inside the file. Alright, now rename function. Inside the rename function, first of all we have to write the old name, that is database1.txt, then the new name, that is database.txt. So now using this function, this name will be changed to database.txt. Alright, now if token value is not incremented, or we can say is 0, then it will display a message saying that record not found, sorry. And with that we are done with the edit function, and now we will create remove function. So we'll write void shopping rem remove. This remove function will be a bit similar to that of the edit function. So now let's start with that. Fstream will create two objects, data and data1. Now int p key and int token will initialize it with 0. Now we'll display /t delete product. Now we'll display to enter the product code. So we'll write similar to previous function. Now data.open database.txt. We are opening this file in reading mode, and then we will check if this file exists or not. So we'll write here we will write if not data, then inside we will display file doesn't exist. Alright, now in else block, inside the else block we will open the data1 file, and the file name would be database1.txt, and we will open this file in append and writing mode. Alright, now after that, is Pcode to initialize or iterate the while loop. We will write this. This is how we read from the file, and here we will use data because we will iterate through data.eof, that is data file. Now inside the while loop, again we'll do the same as that we have previously done. Data.eof end of file. Now use if pcode equals to pkey, then we'll simply display the message saying that product deleted successfully. Alright, and now we will increment the token. Now in the else block we will write data1 space, then pcode, then pname, then price, then discount. Now pname, then price, then discount. Here the P key entered by the administrator will check for the first product code. If it matches, the if block executes. In the second iteration, it will not match and else block will execute, and database1 file will be displayed. In other words, in else block, all the products will be displayed except the one which you want to remove or delete. So we will show this file database1 and then rename it with the previous one, that is database. Alright, so now let's go ahead. We'll do the same in order to iterate this while loop. Now, as we done previously, data.close, as we have to close the files. Data1.close, and after that again the remove function to remove the database file, and rename function. Firstly we will write the database1, that is the old name. Make sure to put semicolons, then database, then database.txt, the new name. Alright, after that, if token is not incremented, that is if token is 0, then it will simply display a message saying that record cannot found. Or record not found. So as we have created three major functions, now we will create another function named list. It will help us in showing the list to the customer or the buyer. Right, shopping. Now we'll write list. Inside this function, we'll write the data, the object of the fstream class, then data.open will open the database file, .txt in the reading mode. After that, we will format it a bit. So after that, again we have to write the product number, name, price, etc. So we'll write product number, and then we can use /t, again name, then price, and then we'll use /n. Please put them inside the double quotes. And now again we'll copy this part. You can design it in your own way, and now we can do the reading part. Data, p code, then p name, as we have done previously, price, dis, while loop. Inside the while loop again we'll use not data dot eof, now inside this file we'll write the product code, product name, and the price. We'll start with product code, then product name, that is p name, after that price, for the iteration purpose we'll write again p code, p name, price, discount. Alright, now after that we will close the file by writing data dot close. Alright, so we are done with this function as well. After this, now we will create the receipt function in which all the customer operations will take place. So now let's create this receipt function. So we'll write void shopping, RECIPT, receipt. And now inside this function, first of all we'll create the object of fstream class. Then we'll declare some arrays because we have to store multiple product keys and multiple quantities of those products. So that is why here we have to use arrays, and then we'll declare some variables. So let's start. First of all, fstream class, the object of this class is data. Now after this we'll create array. Array C means array of codes, so I'll declare it in that way. Now after that, now we'll declare another array of Q, that is quantity. Now choice variable, then there would be a counter variable, let's say. Then discount variable, we'll initialize it with 0, and we'll initialize amount with 0 as well. Alright, now total variable, now we will display a message saying that receipt, so that the user will know that this is the receipt. Now after that will open a file that is data.open. We'll open the database.txt file, and then we'll check if that file or database exists or not. So we have done this previously. Data.open database .txt. We'll open this file in reading mode. Now we'll use if block, and inside this if block we'll write not data. We are checking that if this file or database exists or not. So I'll write if it doesn't exist, if not data, that is if this file doesn't exist or this database doesn't exist, then we will print the message saying that empty database. Empty with a P. Now in else block we'll write if that file exists, then first of all we'll close the file that we already opened. Now in else block we will call this list function that we have created, because if the file is created then we have to call the list function, and we'll show the user or the customer that these are the products available in the supermarket, and for that we are calling this list function. Now we will design the structure and ask the user to place the order. So let's do that. Please place the order. Now again we'll copy this part. Alright, so now we'll use do while loop. The purpose of using this do while loop is that we have to run a specific part of the code every time, and the other part of the code we have to run based on the choice. So now let's start with that. Inside the do block, first of all we will ask the user to enter the product code and enter the product quantity. So first of all we'll write product code enter product code, we'll take the input in the array. Now we'll ask the user to enter the quantity. Alright, now we'll take the product quantity, that is C in ARRQ C. Now we will check that if the product code entered by the user matches with the product code that is being already entered, then we will display a message saying that duplicate product code, please try again. So for that we have to use the for loop first of all, and inside the for loop we'll initialize I with 0, I less than C. We have already initialized C with 0. Now I++. So inside this for loop use if condition and check if the product key or product code entered by the user matches with the product code that already exists in the file, then we will display a message saying that duplicate product code. So we'll write if array C of C that is entered by the user equals array of C I. So I will keep on iterating as we have used for loop. So inside this if, we will display a message saying that duplicate product code. Please try again. Alright. Now we'll write go to M, again the jump statement as we have already discussed. Now after this we will increment C++, that is, if the product key is not duplicate, then C will increment, that is, the counter will increment. Alright, now we'll display a message saying that do you want to buy another product or not. We'll write alright, so as we have displayed this, now we will take the input of the user C in choice, that whether he wants to buy the product or not. So this is our do loop. Now we'll have to use, after this do block, we'll have to use while loop, as we are using the do while loop. Now here is the condition that if the user will press yes, that is Y, then this loop will execute. Alright, now we'll make a design structure. So we'll write cout and /n/t/t/t, and now we'll write receipt. Alright, now after that now we'll write product number. Sorry, by mistake we write capital N. Now we'll write product number. Then now we'll write product quantity. Product name, sorry. Now product quantity. Then the price. Now we'll use the for loop to iterate through the file. So we'll write for int I equals 0, I less than ci++. So now inside this for loop, first of all, because we have to do the iteration, we'll open the file data.open database double quotes database.txt, and we'll open this file in reading mode, so iOS in. Alright, so after that we will kind of initialize this file. We'll write pcode pname, then price, after that there was discount. Alright, now as we have done previously, while not data dot eof, that is end of file, and inside this while loop we will check we are actually matching if the code entered by the user, that is ARRCI, is equal to the code present in the file, and if so, then we will do the calculations and add those files in the customer basket. So let's do that. pcode equals array of C of I. Here we are checking. If so, then we'll do the amount equals to price of the product into the quantity of the product. Alright, after that we'll have to do the discount part. So in this part we know that the discount is calculated by multiplying amount with discount divided by 100, and then we have to subtract it from the amount. So let's do that. Amount minus amount into discount divided by 100. Alright, now after that, as we are done, now we'll have to add discount to the total variable, because in this part the total amount after getting discount is stored in this dis variable. Now we will add the dis variable to the total variable. Alright, so as this is done, now we will print this part. So in this part we are just printing, so we'll do the /n, and now then pcode, then pname, then array of q of I, array of q I. Alright, now after that price, then amount, and amount after discount, or we'll write discount only because we have to write the variable. Alright, now we'll have to add the /t's in between them, so let's do that part. Alright, so we have added the /t's in between them for the formatting purpose. Now to iterate the file, for the iterating purpose we'll do the same, that pcode, pname, price, discount. Alright, now after this while loop, now we will have to close the data file. So we'll write data.close. So after this data.close, we have to print the total amount. So let's do that. First of all, we'll do some designing part, like let's say /n/n. Now just for design purpose, now we'll simply print the total variable. We'll write first of all total amount. Now the variable total. Alright, so everything is done except the main function. Now in the main function we'll write, so int main. Now inside this main function, as we know, we have created the class shopping class, so we will create the object of that shopping class and we will call the menu function with the help of that object. As we know, that is the first function that must be called. So we'll write shopping, and let's say the object of this is s, and s dot menu function. So as we know, the menu function is the topmost function. So this menu will display when we run the file. So now everything is done, and now let's run this file. Let's press compile and run. I hope it works. There are some errors. Alright, so 335, okay. So this is the error, and now 57 line. Line number 57. Yeah, we have to use double equal to. And one more error is there, I think. Now let's try to run this. There might be some more errors, as you can see. Alright, after this 386. Okay, so we haven't labeled this one. We have to label M. Now let's try to run this. So here we can see supermarket main menu. First is administrator, then second if you are a buyer, 3 to exit. So first we'll log in as an administrator. So as you can see, please log in. So now we'll enter the admin's email. So we'll write robbie@email.com. Now the password robbie@123. Now this is the administrator menu. As you can see, first is the add product if we want to add the product, second to modify the product, 3 to delete the product, and 4 to back to main menu. So now I'll click on, like, I want to add the product, so I'll write 1, I'll press 1 and enter, add new product. So now I have to add product code of the product. Like, let's say the product of code of product is 1, name of product, let's say juice, and price is 70, and discount on product is 2%, record inserted. Now again I want to add, so I'll click on 1, product code of product would be 2, now name of product would be, let's say, bread, price 30, discount again 2, record inserted. Now again product now would be, let's say, butter, 3, butter, price of product would be 60, discount would be 4. Now fourth product, sorry, add product, now product would be 4th, and this would be, let's say, eggs, price would be 170, discount 3%, record inserted. So now we will check that these records are inserted or not. So we can cross check it by going here and open this database file. So as we can see, 1 juice, product code 1 is juice, price is 70, 2 is the discount, then second is bread, third is butter, 4 is egg. So first this is the product code, this is the price, and this is the discount on that product. Now let's come back and modify the product. Let's say first product was juice and we want to modify that product. So what we'll do is we'll add the product code 1, and the new product code would be 1 only. Let's say we don't want to change that, and name of the product would be chips, we'll replace it with chips, price would be 20, and discount would be 2%. So record edited, as we can see here, record edited, and now we can check. So now we'll open this database file. So as we can see, 1 chips, 2 bread, 3 butter, 4 eggs. So the first product, that was juice, is replaced by chips. So this function is done. Now let's try the delete function. we'll click on 3 for delete, and now we have to enter the product code of the product which we want to delete. So let's say we want to delete the 4th product, and we can see product deleted successfully. We can check that. As you can see, there are 3 products left. The 4th one got deleted. So now let's go back and let's check if the customer wants to buy the product, how can he or she buy. So let's first of all we'll click on 4 to go back to the. So now let's click on 2 as a buyer to buy some products. Now we'll click on 1 to buy the product. So as we can see, our products are chips, bread and butter. So product numbers are 1, 2, 3 and their price are 20, 30, 60 respectively. And now we'll enter the product code of the product which we want to buy. So I'll click on 1 and the quantity I say 2. Want to buy another product or not? They're asking if you want to buy another product. If yes, then press Y, and if no, then press N. So we'll click on Y because we want to buy another product. So now I'll click on 2, that is bread. Product quantity, I'll add product quantity as 4 breads. And now butter. So for that, first of all Y. For butter I will click on 3. Product code of butter is 3. Now quantity would be 2. Now I don't want to buy any other product, so I'll click on N. So as you can see, product numbers, product name, their quantity, price, amount and amount with discount. And the total is there, that is 272. And if we wish to buy another product, so we can click on 1, else we can click on 2 to go back. So this is our receipt, our total amount is there. So this is our complete project on supermarket billing in C++. You can try it, although the code is a bit long, approx 400 to 450 lines of code, but it is worth trying. Alright guys, with that we have come to the end of this session.
And with that, we have come to the end of this tutorial. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, then do give it a thumbs up, comment your doubts below, please share it with your friends and don't forget to subscribe SimpliCode.